Hi peeps, I am so excited to continue the It's Witchcraft series with you all. I've had a wonderful request to craft some further deck list recommendations based on a shamanic witchcraft perspective, which I'm very excited to bring to the table in the near future. But for today's video, I wanted to offer a list that allows you to feel, experience, see how accessible witchcraft tools can be, that we don't have to over-invest in tools. And my intention and hope is that you will see how powerful these tools can be when we work with them authentically and when at times we allow them to find us in our practice. So we can, of course, go out and purchase certain items, but there's also a really powerful experience to connecting with found items or even items that we already have in our home as a means of amplifying our craft and experiencing this sense of unique empowerment that comes from a witchcraft practice. So I'm going to go through my top 5. This isn't going to be a show and tell, so I'm not going to have things to show you physically. I'm more going to be speaking to what I use daily in my practice. And these are the top 5 items that if you were to ask me, what can you live without in your witchcraft practice? These would be the items. So I want to honorable mention glass jars. Sometimes I do use specific small glass witch jars, or they are also called spell jars if you look them up online. But I started working with just ball jars after I would finish up specific jams or jellies that I would purchase at the store. I would save those little glass ball jars. And then I found that they were very effective means not only of collecting ephemera in nature, but also of working with specific herbs, flowers, stones, and unique personal concoctions of these things and other things to either make an offering to specific deity that I was working with or entities, or to craft and work ritual. I have spoken on the channel in the past that I don't engage in spellcraft from a perspective of cursing others or really working magic in such a way that it only benefits myself. However, I have over the years really embraced working magic and ritual around my relationship with specific deity, but also around honoring and venerating things in my life that may seem let me say it this way, honoring and venerating beauty in my life through offering. And also I have over time shifted my perspective on spellcraft, engaging in spellcraft more from a perspective of what I want to bring in and welcome, or how I want to protect me and mine. So glass jars, witch jars, whatever you would like to call them, spell jars, are really beautiful ways of venerating and working spellcraft. And they're also really wonderful ways to store items in a sacred way for later use. So glass jars, witch jars, spell jars are honorable mention on this list. They almost made it into the top 5, but I had a few other things that I really wanted to share in this list as the actual top 5. So beginning the top 5, at number 5 are mirrors. I use regular mirrors and black mirrors in my practice as a witch to very, very powerful effect. I think mirror magic really gets overlooked I think it gets overlooked based upon other fads that might be popular within the community at certain points in time. But for me, mirror magic is intensely powerful. It's very powerful in connecting with other entities, with other beings through the liminal, connecting with other realms. It's also very powerful to connect to past, present, and future lives, to have conversation with specific guides and deity. And I also use it for divination. I use black mirrors more for a divination standpoint and for banishing. And I use regular mirrors as divination, communication devices, and also for glamour magic. So mirrors for me are number 5 on this list because they are very, very, very powerful things. To me, they are doorways, they are openings, they are very permeable, they're very liminal, and they're going to show you truths. Not necessarily the truth, but a truth. They can also be very effective for perspective shifting when you're really stuck in hanged man energy. So they are one of my most powerful tools, and the beauty is they're something that you already have in your home. Now, of course, you do want to clear, cleanse, purify your mirrors that you're using for magical practice. And so while I consider any mirror a portal, I have specific mirrors in my home that I use for my practice to great effect. So at number 5 on the list are mirrors. If you are looking to bring this into your practice and you're not sure how, I would encourage you to purchase a small, cheap hand mirror, consecrate it, work with it around moon cycles if you're unsure what to do, and begin to play with working with it as a means of scrying, as a means of meditation, and as a means of communication. They are super powerful. At number 4 on my list are tarot and oracle decks. I know you would think they're at number 1, but you'll see when I get to number 1 what number 1 is. Number 4 is tarot and oracle decks. Not only are they powerful divinatory messengers, but they also are powerful middlemen to build relationship with deity. And I also use them for my personal practice in regards to self-care, self-awareness, self-worth, and value. And of course, as a practicing witch and priestess, I do use tarot and oracle decks in pretty much every session I work with clients, and I do work 7 days a week. So I use tarot and oracle decks every day, all day. I love them. They're very powerful. While they do require, for most of us, an investment, as many of us are not gifted our first tarot or oracle deck, the investment, if we are present to it, doesn't have to break the bank, or can be saved for or budgeted in such a way that you can get the deck of your dreams, if you will. Now, of course, many of us are collectors, but you don't have to be. You really only need one tarot and or oracle deck in order to build a practice where you are using these decks as part of your witchcraft path. And I do have to say there's something very special about when you find the one. I don't really think we have the one in relationship in our lives, because I think we have relationships to learn lessons, but I do think we have the one when it comes to tarot and oracle decks. Many of you know that Tarot of Vampires is the one. It's a very, very special deck, but when you find that one that is meant for you, it's a feeling like no other. So they're very, very special, very powerful, and one of my favorite tools in my witchcraft practice. At number 3 are candles. If you've participated in any of my Sabbath observances, you know how much I love candle magic. It was one of the foundational core parts of my practice as a baby witch back in the day. And I love the simplicity of candle magic. I also love working with the element of fire when a candle is lit. For me, lighting a candle serves as a clear delineation that I'm stepping from one realm into another, or that I'm straddling both of those realms as an oracle. And candle magic is a very instant way to connect in with the elemental representation of that aspect of my work. And it's also an element I really love. And there's something about lighting a candle, the ritual of that really creates a sense of reverence. And I also find that I don't think I've worked with a single deity, demon, angel, being, entity, non-corporeal being that didn't appreciate a lit candle for themselves on the altar. So it's just a beautiful way to begin connecting with elements, to feel empowered in your magical and witchcraft practice, And again, it's something that can be budget friendly. You probably already have a candle in your home. You don't have to go out and purchase another one. You can consecrate that candle for witchcraft practice until such a time as you wish to bring another type of candle into your work, or you have the ability to purchase one. I personally really love beeswax candles or natural soy wax candles, and I love working with fellow witches to purchase candles from Etsy that were crafted by other witches with magical intent. But of course, that's not necessary. Any type of candle can work for this type of magic. You don't need to break the bank to build your practice in this way. Number 2 are items found in nature. This was a very close to being number 1. It was tied with my number 1 on the list for a long time, because found nature items are something that I have been working with my entire life. My father was a welder and foreman at an aggregate. That was his day job. And he brought me, this from a uber Christian patriarchal man, brought me stones and natural crystal and quartz almost every day. So I grew up with found items in nature. One thing my family did do was walk a great deal in nature, and so we were constantly finding things within nature itself left on the ground. And I will say that thankfully, because my parents did have a farm, and were exposed to a very profound experience of the cycle of life. Even though my parents were very religious, and I've talked about that a lot on the channel, so I'm not going to waste time in this video doing that here, there was an aspect of kind of checking in before you brought something home from nature that just was kind of inculcated in me, and I think came as a frequency as well. And so while I don't take anything from nature without asking permission first, there's something so powerful about a stone that you find at the ocean, by a river, in the woods, that's very different from a stone that you purchase. There's something so powerful about a set of antlers or dried mushrooms that you might find out in nature and bring into your practice. There's something very, very powerful to that. Dried herbs that you've collected yourself in nature or harvested from your own garden. There's something about these found items in nature that, as my son would say, as the kids would say, hits different. It's just a different feeling. Even sticks or, oh my God, I can't think of it. I just lost the word. But you know, pieces of branches excuse me, driftwood. Thank you guys. Driftwood or even sticks that you might find in nature just feel different when you receive permission from nature herself to bring them home and craft them into wands, athames, any other form of sacred tool that you want to use on your altar or in your practice. Now, of course, that doesn't mean if you buy an athame or wand online, it's not effective, but there's just something very different about crafting it yourself from found items in nature that I find to be so fulfilling as a witch. It's just a way that I, as a witch who doesn't identify as a green witch or a hearth witch, feel that sense of reverence and connection to nature, despite not having a green thumb. And it's a way to feel the connection to the physical realm as witches. And it's also a way to receive messages from guides and deity. So I will never forget being gifted a turkey vulture feather from a shamanic practitioner at one point on my journey. And the experience of that, there's nothing like working with items that are from nature, that were found either by yourself or a loved one, someone that you trust, that you're now bringing in to venerate and as part of your practice. There's just something so, so, so special about that. So found nature items are number 2 on my list of witchcraft tools. And number 1 is my inner temple. If you've done any type of journey work with me, you know that I'm gonna have you step into that inner temple. This is something that you will see if you read the Pendergast series of novels. Was called a memory palace, and in the Hannibal TV series, they work a lot with memory palaces. And so when I was reading The Inner Temple of Witchcraft by Christopher Penczak, and he had us create an inner temple, I was already working with my own version of this from a very young age, probably due to the fact that I spent hours and hours sitting still inside of kingdom halls as a child. I was already working with a memory palace, but to marry that to an inner temple was really powerful in my own witchcraft practice. It doesn't cost anything to do it. It's the safe, sacred space from which, as a witch, you can journey for astral travel or witch flight. And it's really where I go to commune with my gods, to learn from them, and to study energetically from other non-corporeal beings. So I don't think I would have a witchcraft practice without this tool. Again, doesn't cost any money to do it. You create it in your own mind. Please go check out Christopher Penczak's Inner Temple of Witchcraft or Jasmine Ambrosia's Book of Witch Flight if you're looking to create one for yourself and you're not sure where to start. If you've journeyed with me at all, you know, and I do have some guided journeys available for free on the channel. Please feel free to check that out as well. But I work with the Inner Temple as a place that you've already experienced in nature where you felt the most connected to your spiritual path and or the divine. And then you work with your imagination or inner knowing to call that imagery up and to step into that and journey forward from that space. So the Inner Temple is my number one tool as a witch. I do consider myself an energetic witch, and the Inner Temple is essential to my witchcraft practice. I can use it anywhere, anytime I need to. I don't have to pack anything to connect with it. And no one else even needs to know that I'm going there. So it's an essential aspect of my craft, and I'm able to keep it secret, keep it safe if I need to. So these have been my top 5 tools in my witchcraft practice. I hope you find them to be accessible, intriguing, and I hope they spark your curiosity to bring them into your own practice. And if some of these are in your top 5, I hope you'll share with me in the comment box down below. All right, my loves, I am sending you, as always, oceans of love, and I will, of course, see you in the next video. Take care.